Hi everyone, the Bilderberg group has been meeting in Stockholm, Sweden, the Grand Hotel. Yesterday I did a video on the political representatives that were there, of course, with Michael O'Leary. And there was Jack Chambers, Pascal Donoghue, Michael McGrath were in attendance of this group. That was set up in 1954 by Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands. Of course, he was a card-carrying member of the Nazi Party between 33 and 36, and it was discovered there's quite close ties with him and the Nazi Party subsequent to his death. But he chaired those meetings until the mid-70s. And of course, it was to ferment ties between Europe and the United States to pursue this agenda. Now, yesterday I spoke about the video in the issues of what was being discussed in terms of the migration agenda and also issues around depopulation as well, which were discussed in this agenda. Fascinating. Absolutely just madness, really. And of course, journalists cannot report on what's being discussed because of the Chatham House rules in place in terms of the privacy. But of course, the Irish taxpayers are funding this trip for the political establishment, and of course we're going to not even hear what they're discussing, but I'm sure these top-down policies will be implemented soon on people. But it's also fascinating because alongside Michael O'Leary there was also another member of the CEO class in Ireland, a woman by the name of Anne Herity. Now, Anne Herity is the founder of CPL, a big recruitment company in Ireland, Computer Placements. It was founded back in 1989, and she was the first CEO of a PLC when they were publicly listed then, a number of years later. Now, of course, she has also sold that company to a company called Outsourcing, a Japanese company. She stayed on the board of it, and then subsequently now it's controlled by Bain Capital. Mitt Romney, of course, of the Republican Party that controlled that company, CPL. Now, what's very fascinating about this, she is a multi-millionaire. She's regularly on Ireland's Rich List along with her husband, Paul Carroll, but she has been invited along to this Bilderberg group meeting in the Grand Hotel, luxurious surroundings in Stockholm. Now, I wonder why she's been invited along. Well, currently she is the head of Sherry Fitzgerald, the chairperson of Sherry Fitzgerald in Ireland. Now, they're the biggest real estate company across the island of Ireland. They've over 100 offices, and they've pulled about €6 million in profits last year. Profiting massively from the housing disaster we're all in terms of sky-high prices, and of course people like Herity are going to profit massively from this as well. Now, of course, she's representing the Irish Business Employers Confederation at this event as well. Surprise, surprise. Now, also she's on the board of Kingspan. Now, Kingspan, of course, another multinational based in Cavan, but of course had this involvement with the cladding that was put on the Grenfell Tower, a fire that took place a number of years ago as well. So they're really under serious pressure as well. But of course, they're a multinational, and of course this is who the political establishment in Ireland represents. Now, fundamentally, she has also been involved in the immigration chaos. I wonder why, because obviously with the recruitment agency and CPL, they've actively recruited and looked for work visas for non-EU nationals, specifically in terms of coming to Ireland to work, big tech workers, workers in finance companies, and of course across a whole range of industries that they have tried to recruit internationally. And interestingly enough, she was also the chairperson of Future Skills Ireland back about 20 years ago. Now, what's Future Skills Ireland? That's about trying to look at what skills in terms of immigration, skilled immigrants to come to Ireland to work in the big powerhouses and the multinationals. So she was pursuing this agenda, of course, at the behest of the Irish government, and of course profiting from it through her company CPL as well, which was publicly listed, then sold on to a Japanese company, as I said, and now in the hands of Bain Capital. But she was non-executive director of the Outsourcing when she sold on her shares in CPL. And also, coincidentally, it gets deeper, she was also non-executive director of Anglo-Irish Bank. Of course, the bank bailout that cost us from that bank about €30 billion from Anglo. Of course, we know about their dealings and their so-called contracts for difference and all this stuff going on in society that helped drive us over the cliff. So, yeah, you fail upwards in Irish society, become a multi-millionaire and do the government's bidding. So she was invited along to this event as well. Now, let's ask why. Of course, the head of Sherry Fitzgerald in Ireland profiting from the housing misery and pursuing the immigration agenda. Because in the last year, we've seen 120,000 people come into, 150,000 people come into Ireland. And on top of that, we've seen the emigration of our young people in terms of over 30,000 young people have left Ireland as well. And it was reported during the week that the work visas issued in terms of housing supply is at the ratio of 4 to 1. So putting pressure on the housing stock in Ireland as well. So Ireland, this is how it works. It works for these multi-millionaires and people like Herity, along with Michael O'Leary, who's in attendance at this event, along with the Chambers, Donoghue and McGrath, the Commissioner for Justice and Rule of Law. So look at who is represented in Irish society. We need to take power back to our communities. It's vitally important that people are empowered in what goes on in society, and politically it's so important now more than ever to be fully aware of what's taking place in society, where all the money is being funneled upwards. People are on these boards, non-government organisations or task forces that are part of the establishment and benefiting from all the policies themselves, which is a massive conflict of interest. But of course, this is the way Ireland works for the very rich in society. Thanks a lot for supporting my videos. Really appreciate them. Please press subscribe to my channel also as well, and please keep sharing my videos to WhatsApp groups and so forth as well, because it's vital that this information gets out to more and more people, to what's really going on, because Irish media won't discuss this in any way. And by the way, Herity was named Businesswoman of the Year by a number of times by Image magazine and by the Irish Times, of course, sponsored by Ernst & Young. What can you say? Thanks a lot for the support, and Slán from Dublin today. Take care.